Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat. All right, welcome back, everybody. Today's what? Where were we at? I lost track. We've been gone for a couple of weeks already. But welcome back to May 18 to another episode of First and Go. This is episode, where are we at right now? What's episode
18.
18, episode 18. I know you guys missed us, but we missed our mans a lot more. So let's just dive in because we got a lot to cover, a lot to recap. This week's been busy so far, and we got last week to cover up. So let's dive in. You already know who we are. We got a little ghost panel right here. Adan, Luis, and myself. So no need for introduction. So let's go dive in. And let's start off, guys, with the Lakers and Denver. So we just witnessed game 2. Witnessed game 2. For Adan and myself, it's a little disappointing. Luis, it's time to celebrate, right? You know, up to that huge lead, right? 2-0. What went wrong and what went right for both teams? Then what do you think? What's going on right
now? So I thought the Lakers carried over their defense from the fourth quarter into the first 3 quarters. They're playing Jokic really well with smaller guys like Rui, and even LeBron is playing him. And then they're letting AD kind of roam around. I know it started AD on Jokic, but I think that's really working for them. It lets Davis challenge people at the rim, and it leaves Gordon open, but it makes it harder for people to drive. And then they just gotta. I think they started doing a better job of getting around to the shooters instead of the guy doubling. They started rotating anyway. So I thought their defense carried over, but I don't know if it was Denver's defense because I know the coach was really preaching on it. But I mean, AD just had a terrible game. And after 40 points in game 1, he was 4 of 11 or something like that for 18 points. He was missing bunnies, stuff that he usually makes. So it happens. People have bad games. Just seems to happen to AD more often, right? It seems like he has 2 bad games and 1 decent game. If you would have given them half of the production that he gave them in game 1 with the efficiency, not just the 20 points, because he got close to 20 points, but with the efficiency, like, scoring over 50% of your shots, making all your free throws, the Lakers would have won this game easily. That's what I saw. LeBron missed a couple, 3 layups almost in a row, right? Like one, he lost the handle, missed the layup. The other one, I think it went out of bounds, and then he missed the dunk too. Like he just fumbled the dunk all in the first quarter. There's 6 points they could have had. It all makes a difference. So I think it's always a game about adjustments. I think the Lakers, I think they gave it their best punch. And unless AD could play better, I don't see them playing better defense than what they did. I mean, Murray just got hot, but I just don't see them they won't have a better strategy when it comes to their defense. So unless AD could play like he played in game 1, I don't think they're going to win the series.
Or at least what do you think Denver's doing right? And if you want, what they do right the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm surprised that the Lakers are as far as they are. I know you two aren't, surprised that the Lakers are here. Go check out the episodes where Adan and Sal said early before the playoffs started, that Lakers were going to make a deep run, and here they are. And not only are they doing a deep run, they've beaten every team, right? And they've given every team trouble, and they're giving Denver trouble too. So the thing that the Lakers do well is they play really good team defense, and I'm impressed by their coach too. He's making a lot of, at least in the playoffs, he's making a lot of in-game adjustments, and what Denver I feel is doing well is that, which makes me nervous because, I mean, it's no secret I want to see LeBron lose, but what makes me nervous is they're hitting tough shots. It's like Adan said, they're being defended very well. Some of these shots, if it's LeBron, AD, that annoying ass fucking Reeves and what's the Hachim, whatever his name is, and the gang of misfits, and then the other guy that's in there just for defense, the starter.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, so they play good defense and like annoying defense, and I like that they play good defense without fouling. You know what I mean? Like I can't see obviously I've been watching a lot of Laker games throughout this playoffs, and they even inbounding the ball, passing out on the ball, they play tenacious defense, and I just feel like Denver is just hitting really tough shots. Murray has hit some really tough shots, Jokic, but I don't know if that's going to continue to happen. Like Murray had a terrible first three quarters and then he caught fire, right? But does that happen when they go back? And then the other thing that the Lakers have going for them is they have been almost unbeatable at home. Like even before the playoffs started.
Here we go.
So
Here we
now,
go with the jinxing.
no, they're unbeatable at home. They have not lost a game. Now, I think so far in this playoffs, and I can't, this is off the top of my head, I think they've been able to steal at least one game. They're the lower seed, so they've been playing away. They've been the underdog, and they've come back home 1-1, like stealing a game if it's game one or game. I don't know, And the other thing that I've noticed with the Lakers is, and again, I could be wrong, but they don't get blown out, man. Like I've seen Denver and Memphis and Golden State build double-digit leads, like 18, 17 points, and they'll make it. They'll either, sometimes they come back and won the games, or they'll make it a really close game. So what I feel Denver is doing well compared to like Memphis and Golden State is they closed out their games, even when they lost their big lead. I don't think, in this game, in game one, Denver was up big and they never gave up their lead. I don't think in the fourth quarter, even when the Lakers cut it down by 3, I think. In this game, they came back and took the lead, but then once they took the lead, I don't think they ever gave it back. So that's the difference. So to answer your question, Sal, that's what Denver's doing. They're closing out the game. They're hitting tough shots, but I think they're nervous because everybody's saying, "Oh, we've seen this all year. What the Lakers is doing is nothing special." But they didn't make any. I didn't see any adjustments from Denver this game. They did, like you guys mentioned, like they put other players on Jokic. That is disrupting Denver's offense. Meaning that other guys have to step up and hit really tough shots. So it's a good game. It's a good series. I think Denver should. I'm surprised the Lakers are as far as they got. Not the way they're playing right now, but before the playoffs started, But the other thing that they do besides good defense is one of the busters always steps up. If it's Schroeder having a big game or Reed having a big, they don't need all the guys to have a big game. They just need one of those guys. But the key comes back to what you guys have said from the beginning of the playoffs. Before it was just healthy AD. That's not even good enough anymore. It has to be a good AD, right? And this guy's like night and day. And I think they put. You guys have seen the stats where he's good in, I don't know, odd number games or whatever stupid stat they have, right? Like, it's crazy to me, right? Have you guys seen that?
I haven't seen that.
So there's a stat, and maybe it's off now because of this game, but there's like he's good, like his when you put his odd games to even games or vice versa, one is superior than the other just because he keeps being, hot and cold, which is crazy because unless I'm missing something and I'm just enjoying the game too much and I'm not, my basketball acumen is not there, I don't really see any big adjustments on AD from game 1 to 2. So I don't understand why he's so hot and cold back to back. I don't know what you guys think about that.
You're on mute, Sal. The typical Zoom. It finally happened.
Cute. Yeah, I know you guys touched a lot about defense. I didn't see a lot of great defense from Lakers. I especially game 1. I think they got owned like the first 2.5 to 3 quarters, and then they turned it on in the fourth quarter, and it was a little bit too late. And I think they carried that momentum in the first quarter, and I don't know they got comfortable or like let's keep it close or win it, and then or maybe just like I said they hit the shot, but in the fourth quarter they just fell apart. They just at one point they were outscored 20-5. I'm like, man, it was just Murray was hitting through. Like I was waiting for him to get hot. Like I thought he was gonna hit like 2, 3. but he hit a few more, and fouled. He was sent to the line, and I don't know. The Nuggets earned it, and I think the Nuggets it's half Nuggets earned it, and Lakers gave it away too. So LeBron missed some tough shots. AD, I don't know where he was thinking. Camping out. Kind of
I think he hit like what 2 threes maybe in a row. So maybe he just hit one big three in the
he had
fourth.
one. I remember just hitting one.
I think yeah, one, and then he
He had one, and then he kind of
More.
maybe the other one right after the one he hit. He didn't miss it by much, so I think he still felt like for whatever reason, and they were obviously giving him the shot. They were contesting it really late, so they're letting him, like, if he makes that shot, he makes that shot. Didn't he beat Denver with a 3 in game 2 when they were playing in the bubble? I've been seeing that replay over and over.
Yeah,
when they stole game 2.
These are the same Final Four teams that in 2020. Heat versus Celtics and Lakers versus Nuggets.
Do they go back to LA for 2? I don't know why I'm traumatized. At what point doesn't exist anymore, where they go back for 3 and then the last 2, is that in the finals, or is that not a thing anymore?
No, I don't think. I think they changed that. It used to be like that in the finals because I'm
stuck in the 90s. I'm the only person that thinks that still happens. Okay, so it's still the same layout as always. 2, 2, and then 1, 1.
1, yeah.
Okay. Man. I mean, right now Denver just has to go to LA and do what no other team's been able to do this playoffs, and just steal 1 game. And that's it. It's a lot of pressure on the Lakers. I love it. They look gassed out there. They all do, not just the Lakers. Denver does too, But I love seeing 38-year-old LeBron James gassed, Just he just it's because he's usually the guy that has to put it in the second gear, right? Now he has to rely. And really, Anthony Davis has to come. And I feel like game 3 they should be able to settle in. I give a lot of credit to Austin Reeves. Little fucker doesn't give up. Even when he has bad games, and I'm sure he'll sucker a team into giving him a $50 million contract, and he'll be a whatever player. Because right now he's playing with LeBron James and AD, But you think he's gonna do that when he's playing for the Utah Jazz or Orlando Magic or whatever buster team gives him? I'm just hating on Austin Reeves, but he's been playing a lot better.
What if the Bulls pick him up?
Oh, I hope, please, Adan. Please don't, man.
And then we got Caruso, right? Like, can you bring him? Austin Reeves, come on down.
You guys want to take a quick look at our brackets? I was able to update them because I thought the game was over, so I just got on the computer. I was like, "Oh, I'll get ready for the thing." So,
man,
let's look at what we got. A lot of red, I think. So, Luis,
freaking Lakers have been killing me. Everybody, holy shit! All right, so
we got to change our picks on some of them. Last time we met, this whole side hadn't been decided yet. Like the last time we had the episode, Kings and Warriors were still playing, Grizzlies and Lakers were still playing. So, and you didn't change your pick. You stuck with the Suns, but now there's a chance. So now we could update it. So you're going with the Nuggets, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah.
And
I gotta take my bets. Nuggets and sick. You know what? So the Celtics is they're the heavy favorite, even though they dropped game 1. So it kind of sucks that we're doing this afterwards, But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But I think everybody, all our fans out there, and all the basketball, they all want to see Jimmy Butler get a ring. So let's put the Miami Heat in there, just that's my homer pick. Obviously the Celtics are the overwhelming favorite, but I think everybody wants to see Jimmy get that ring. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah. I don't know if you guys, what do you rather see? Jokic get his first ring, LeBron get his 5th, Jimmy get his first, or I don't know, who's the other? Tatum
I don't know.
First,
LeBron get his
Tatum.
5th?
No, I think unfortunately that was last in the poll, I think.
All right, so you want to pick the champion right now, or you want to wait and see if this?
No, yeah, man. I mean, why? I can't half-ass it, so I gotta go Miami all the way, man. With this historic
8th seed wins the championship.
The 8th seed, yeah.
Okay, you heard it here first, guys.
He'll change it next week.
All right, so you got
Look at all that green. Look at all that green.
That is a lot of fucking.
so you got a chance, and you call this one right, and you call this one right. You did have the Warriors. Yeah, there's a lot of green, man. And then you called the Knicks beating
Yeah.
the Heat. So that one was wrong. Are you sticking with the Celtics?
Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm sticking with the Celtics.
And then here, what are you doing?
I mean, I hate to change it. I hate to. I mean, I have to pick. I only picked the Suns, to be honest. It's because I didn't want to jinx my my bet I had on the Lakers. So fucking might as well just fucking double down. I mean, I'm going with the Lakers. Fucking that's what my pick was. I should have picked them here, honestly. I should never pick the Suns. I never thought they had the depth after they traded everybody away. I just didn't see it happening. I thought Chris Paul was due for an injury, like he always is, and sure he was. And so I should have never.
And I'm sure the NBA would love to see Lakers versus Celtics in the finals.
To be honest, I'm rooting for the Heat. I just don't want to change it. I don't want to be the flip. But look at all that green. I'm curious to see what yours is on. Let me see. But anyway, I want to go. I picked the Celtics, but I want to be wrong. I want to see Jimmy Butler. I want to see Jimmy Butler up there again.
So you're gonna pick the Celtics to win it all. Who are you picking? So you're saying
let's go. Let's ruin the bracket. It's already. I'm already done. I'm already pissed off. They're down two games. So let's go Lakers all the way. Fuck it. Double down all the way. That's what my bet was initially. So that's what
always.
If we would have like taken points, kind of like what you do in NCAA, I'm sure you would be winning. So mine, a lot of red, a lot of fucking red.
You're like 50-50.
50-50.
You're like 50-50.
Yeah, but I had the Celtics. I mean, the Bucks going all the way. I did get to pick the Heat over the Knicks. I picked the Nuggets over the Suns. I picked the Grizzlies, to come out, so I was wrong. But I'm going with the Nuggets and the Celtics, and I'm picking the Celtics because I said that the East had been the better conference the whole year. I thought the Bucks and the Celtics were the two better teams, with probably the 76ers and the Nuggets like right there in third place. So I'm sticking with that. That I thought that those teams are better. Think if the Nuggets make the finals against the Heat, I'm gonna let that shit ride for real. I think the Nuggets will beat the Heat. If it goes against the Celtics and the payout is like $700-800, the bet, I'll probably cash out.
Smart. That makes sense. That was a good call, man. Denver could very well go all the way here.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the favorites against the Lakers right now, and would they be the favorites even if they went up against Boston?
I don't know if they'll be the favorites against Boston. Depends on how Boston wins, how healthy they are. Like
sure, both for both. Yeah.
Robert Williams continues to because that guy. I'm thinking that guy's just crazy athletic. That guy just changes things. So I don't think he's been able to play like a solid 30-something minutes. He's been restricted. So we'll see.
But he's not going to be defending Jokic, is he?
Why not?
He could.
Well, he was defending Embiid.
Defend on the perimeter. He could go out there.
Yeah, dude. I think Robert Williams could
Wasn't he on
Jokic on the perimeter? Yeah, he was on Embiid.
Embiid a couple. Yeah.
But he brings up the ball up, everything.
And I don't even think Jokic is like a physical guy. Like you could put somebody up like
maybe
more of a finesse.
Maybe they'll do what the Lakers are doing, right? Because that kind of seems to show something. So they might put in like that guy. It's a Greg Williams, whatever Williams.
The other Williams.
They haven't. He's been on the bench, but they might put him because he's a solid, bulky guy, and then just have Robert Williams roaming around.
All right, so let's go with so what happens tonight with the we covered that. Like, you guys want to touch on what happened with the Suns? What did they go for now here? I mean, they just traded away their youth for KD. Do they bring CP3? They move away from him. Aiden, was he running for a 1-year deal, right? Franchise tag.
You guys heard Harden wants to join them?
Yeah,
I didn't hear that. I thought Houston was the talk.
Originally, he said that he was interested in maybe coming back to Houston, but supposedly now there's rumors that he's also gonna talk to Phoenix, which is interesting, you
So
know.
let's say you move away from Chris Paul or what? Or you?
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, that's you know, I think CP3. When did he have his revival? Like when he went with OKC, maybe, you know. I think that bought him extra years, and but he just breaks down. And but that's been his whole career. It hasn't even been as lately. So I think you do have to move on. They went all in with Kevin Durant, right? And I thought that that would be enough with him and Booker, but they just didn't. Even those two guys were. It's not like they were killing it. You know what I mean? They didn't even play well enough against Denver. So yeah, I think you move over from CP3. Aiden, I mean, I'm sure you guys saw a bunch of, but I didn't. You know, watching him in the playoffs, he's a very reserved center. Not aggressive on the board. He's a big dude too, so I don't really know. I'm a little confused about his game. Um, Statistically, it looks good, but I don't know. I heard that the Bulls are interested in him, which will kind of he
I
would
would
be like
take him. I would take him. I mean, he's a solid 18 and 10 guy. I think Jokic could make anybody look.
But so is what's the guy that we have right now?
Oh, you move from Vucevic?
Yeah, that guy's 15 and 10 too. You know, like, but I don't know. I didn't like because I thought that the Suns were going to play better. You know, I had picked them to go all the way, so. I think that a lot, CP3 broke down and Aiden, I thought, play very reserved. And then he didn't even play the last game, right? That he got eliminated. He got hurt or whatever.
Yeah, he got hurt.
He sat out the whole game.
Yeah.
But then Devin Booker and Kevin Durant
But they were putting up
like
crazy stuff. They were averaging like 60 something, 70 something points combined in the first round. Like Booker was averaging
right.
Like 35 and this guy like 36. It was insane. And people were like, oh my God, this is
right.
Great. Nick Wright was talking about like there's been no teammates that have ever done this. So the fact that people think it's gonna continue throughout the whole playoffs is insane. And he was right. It didn't. No. Even their shooting percentage. They just didn't have defense. And I think that was the case during the regular season. They were outscoring teams, but they were giving up a lot of points. So it was just a matter of, okay, once they have like bad shooting nights or they get into like up against a team like the Nuggets that are just really, really good on offense, moving the ball around, getting good shots, they didn't have a chance. Then once CP3 went down.
And what about the Warriors? Where do they go from there? Draymond, is he gone? Steve Kerr made a comment that they can't win without him. I don't know why he said that. I was hoping he fucking roll out to the sunset somewhere, but now I guess he's vouching for this guy. He wants to bring this guy back.
But that, to me, that's kind of saying like a trade pool, right? Like just him saying that.
Yeah.
Well, I heard about Clay too. They want to move Clay now or something.
Thompson? Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought they wanted to at least keep those three.
But
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, guys, the Warriors had home court advantage. They had everybody healthy. They were talking about how we didn't have a good regular season. We weren't the championship team. It's all bullshit. Like you were in the playoffs, you were favored, home court, everybody healthy, and you got beat, So now all the excuses come out, and I think they lost, a lot of things that we already talked about, like why the Lakers team defense, and I felt like they always had a guy that stepped up for them in different spots that put them over the hump. But yeah, they didn't get anything from Jordan Poole. I think one game maybe, you know what I mean? He shot okay, and it wasn't. And I mean, I shouldn't say that. He regressed so much, from last year, and he's playing with Hall of Fame, some Hall of Fame players too, in a system he already knows. So I think he really got into his own head and was taking really bad shots. And then Klay Thompson too, like he was horrendous, missing some open shots too. So I guess they're in denial because they're hearing like we're not done, we're not this. But I mean, like you had everybody healthy, you had home court advantage. Like what else? Like what? How you guys are gonna get 1 year older? Like what's gonna change? Like keeping the same squad? Like what is it? Are you guys is everybody just gonna get better? Like I think if Poole would have played like he did, was it just a year ago? Then
Yeah,
maybe
that's
they have a shot, but he regressed. So I think they need to make a move, whoever it is, if it's Clay, Draymond, or Poole, they got to make a move. If they still want to maybe make one more run, at it with this core.
I just wonder what they could get for any of those guys because the way the season ended, their value is low.
They went low, yeah. They went low, but they would have to trade it with a player out there that maybe also had an off year, so maybe a change of scenery. Both teams thinking that maybe a change of scenery. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I did see like some, like with the Celtics. So I don't know. I think who's the Jaylen Brown that's coming up for, like if the Celtics don't, is it Jaylen Brown maybe that's up for a big contract? I think.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
So
Colin Coward, he proposed something like that. I don't know if that's what he saw. He was like Wiggins and Poole for Brown and Malcolm.
there you go. Yeah. That's the one that I saw and I didn't understand that, but I think it has to do with contracts.
Yeah,
the Celtics, because they also have to pay a couple other players, I think the Celtics. So I don't know enough about their situation.
Well, Brown made a second team All NBA. I mean,
yeah, no, he's not like that would be a huge upgrade for the Warriors. I don't know why the Celtics would do that, So I don't know if that's just because they don't plan to. Maybe they're not going to offer him a max contract. I don't know.
Maybe if they lose to the Heat, right, they might also feel like, hey, it's time to make a change.
Right, because
Tatum and Brown are working.
Yeah, you're right. So it would be like a scenario like that, but I think that's a bad trade for the Celtics. But I think that's just I'm being biased because of how terrible.
I'll do Brown for Levine.
How about
shit? I take that
Ja
too.
Morant.
Oh, speaking of, before we get there,
but I think before we move on, I said that's the Golden State's fault for giving paying Poole that much money. I hate when players they have a good year and then they just based on 1 year they fucking break the bank. Now there's times where they have a phenomenal year, like oh my god, and then you have to. Those guys had a good year, like an all-star year, and they go and you pay like he's your next franchise player, and now look at it, they're fools. But yeah, they got to move away from him. Maybe Draymond. I don't want to see Draymond anywhere. Period. But yeah,
I thought he was gonna retire. But
I think if they tell him they're gonna trade him, maybe he'll just retire.
I think he wants to retire. If they pay him something, and whatever it's on the team, if we come off the bench, he wants to stay relevant.
He's probably dying to be part of that TNT crew or something like that. Just hoping
something else besides Draymond Green. Well, so then the other thing too, like said, what happened with Ja Morant? You guys seen the story where, again, his friend posted some Instagram live or some post, and there he is holding up again. Like, what's going on there? Like, what do you guys think? Like, I mean, it sounds stupid because it's something easy fix. Like, don't do it again, right? But like, you figured you wouldn't do it, like, not so soon. Like this guy just got suspended, he got eliminated, and he's out there, doing like, I don't know what the fuck he's doing. Like, what's up with that? Like, you guys think like I mean, I know so like he's probably gonna get a lengthy suspension, right? 30, 40 games probably.
Yeah, they gotta do something.
But what do you
they don't have to, but they're going to, I feel.
Now, I don't think they're gonna move away from him, obviously, but I think they're gonna give some fucking same thing, some rehab and issue a public apology, all the nonsense, and maybe he gets fixed, maybe he gets rid of his stupid posse. But is there a chance? What would you do? Like, would you entertain offers for Ja Morant at this point? And then what do you think? You look at you thinking.
Oh, dude, yeah, you flipped that question. If I was the Grizzlies, would I entertain? Actually, yeah. Initially, I was gonna say no, but fuck it, why not? Why not listen? So at some point, his friend is an idiot, right, for going on Instagram live. Like, I wonder what happened afterwards, right? Is Judge is like pissed off at his friends, or is he just like, oh my god, you guys are my buddies, and I want to have this whatever, this fucking group of, I don't know, right? Like, he's always hanging around the same crew. So
the video, I don't know if it's a first call. It looks like he was recording, and we flipped to John. John picked up the gun, and then he like bad timing.
That's what it seemed like, bad timing. But at some point, we got to stop blaming his friends. He's the one that was holding the gun, and like you said, it seems like such an easy fix. Just don't do it again. So fucking easy. And
don't grab guns. Yeah, unless you're not ready, don't fucking hold the gun.
Exactly. 2 weeks later, he's fucking. After all the talk about I'm the one that ruined the season and I was a distraction, and I'm gonna do better and all that bullshit that they all say. Like, you didn't learn shit. And it's not like he grew up in the ghetto, like having to protect himself. It's not like he doesn't have money in case, I don't know, he has stalkers or whatever. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I think he just he thinks having a gun makes him look tough. So fuck his friends. I don't know what the deal is with his dad. His dad seems to want to be more of his friend than his father, probably because he's the breadwinner now. He's the one providing for the family. But it's him. He's the problem. Whatever the fuck he's got in his head that makes him think that carrying a gun makes him a man, or that that's the kind of lifestyle he wants to live. It's just stupid. So yeah, I will entertain trades. Like, get rid of this guy. He didn't. It was fucking 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks that this happened. He didn't learn shit. Yeah. How do you know that he's not gonna do something even worse? And he posts pictures of himself fucking chugging bottles of tequila and a lot of other shit. So, this guy could be a lot more trouble than he's worth.
All right, I'm gonna get back to you right now. What are your thoughts, Luis?
Yeah, no, I mean, so it's hard for me. It's like the old adage, unfortunately, in all sports entertainment, the franchise is only going to entertain somebody as talented as they are. You know what I mean? So it's basically, if I'm in charge of that move, like, how much of a headache is he giving us versus how talented he is? And that sucks. Like, I wish, like, I'm such a nerd that I would be the first one to be like, man, you didn't learn your lesson. Like, you got to get the hell out of here. But I think in the sports world, they will entertain that. If you're very talented, they'll entertain you longer. But so Memphis has to figure out, they're the organization, right? They're writing out the check. So they got to figure out, like, okay, is this our franchise player? Is this who we're going to build our team around? I don't know, but like, obviously they're lacking. Who's the vets there in Memphis? Is it Adams, maybe?
I think Adams
Stevens,
and you hear about that, and people always kind of glass over that stuff. I think that stuff matters. I mean, they can't be with him when he's out. You know what I mean? But somebody to rein him in and be like, hey, you gotta get your shit together. You know what I mean? How old is he? 23 years old, right? So he's acting like a 23-year-old that, in terms of like, that has the money that he has. He lives in a different world than your average 23-year-old. So then I just think as Memphis is like, hey, okay, like, he hasn't learned his lesson. We gotta the league is probably gonna suspend him to make an example out of him, right? And I've heard so many people, like, even like really focusing on like, oh, it's a gun, like, it's not even like he like, kind of defending like he's not even doing anything bad, but I'm sorry, the NBA at the end of the day, it's a business. So no business wants to show one of their, new stars just with this image, right? With this bad image. So to answer your question, Sal, like, just because he sucked it up in the play, they didn't beat the Lakers, I'd trade his ass. You know what I mean? They would have beaten LeBron. I don't know. Like, hey, let's give this kid a second chance. He's 23. Let me get some vets in. Let's see if we could right the ship. I always remember of Allen Iverson. That guy gave the Sixers headaches, but he was a different talent. He was ultra talented, right? And then he became like the fucking NBA's darling, which was so weird. You know what I mean? Everyone was cheering for him, and he was like causing nothing but headaches. You know what I mean? In the beginning, even before he got into the league. So I think it just depends on your talent. And so he's on yeah, I don't know. He's on what do they call it? Like a short he doesn't have like a lot of he's kind of like he doesn't have a lot of he doesn't have a lot of leeway right now, you know. So I guess if I was Memphis, you know, we're the second seed. You know, we haven't been able to get over that hump with this core, right? We got to make some moves. I mean, it would have to be a very good offer, but I don't see why they wouldn't entertain that. Let it be somebody else's headache, you know.
I heard
What do you think?
Jalen Brown could be available.
I mean,
Oh, yeah, what? I mean, would it take more? I mean, obviously, right? Jalen, what else? Some picks, maybe?
some big, and I like Ja Morant. I like his game. You know what I mean? He's very exciting. He's very explosive. You know what I mean? I think he's one bad dunk away from blowing his knee out. You know what I mean? Since he dunked so recklessly, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just kind of silly that he did the same thing back to back. It's almost comical, right? So you got to just take a stance like he's never gonna change. This is who he is. You know what I mean? This is who he is. He wants to do what he wants to do. He's 23 years old. He's a millionaire, and you know, for publicity, he has to say, you know, he has to make a statement. The first time he did an interview with Jalen Rose, right? Like now he can't do anything, right? Like he talked about going to rehab. Like I never heard of that. Like go to rehab so you don't hold guns on Instagram Live. Like what the fuck? You like? I don't understand. Like,
Wait,
just...
wait, what's so hard about this fucking slapping? Hey, don't do that.
Like, what is it like? What is that about? Like I don't know. You know, it's a bunch of BS. Like Adon said. So I don't know. It's a bad look. So the Memphis has to. They got. He's putting Memphis in a tough position. So I think Memphis really just has to decide if he's worth the headache or not.
Hey, Sal, would you do Lonzo Ball and Levine for Ja Morant?
Oh man, if I'm the Grizzlies,
I see you got the Bulls. I see you got the Bulls jersey.
I mean, I will pull the trigger, but I don't think Memphis is.
No pun intended.
Unintended. I would as a Bull. I mean, I would. But I don't think Memphis is. I think I would entertain offers. I don't know what they'll possibly. At this point, you're gonna probably sell him low. So
Right.
he has his. I'll just keep him. You know, like, hey man, just don't fucking put him. You know, if he does it again, like
grab all your friends' phones and fucking put them in.
Yeah, don't let him in the
turn them off.
You know, unless you're paying for tickets, like don't. You know, like they're not in stadiums. They're allowed. Get the fuck out of here.
Have you guys seen that clip from the movie? I think it's Get Shorty Part 2. I think it's the damn it, I gotta send it to you guys. But it's like it's a clip from a movie, and I think it's a guy, the cousin, he has a gun, he accidentally shot it or something like that. He's like, and they're all looking at him. He's like, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "Don't give me a fucking gun. You guys know better to give me a gun." And they're saying that that's like Ja Morant. Like, I don't know what his like. I don't understand why he just feels the need to do that. But real quick, don't you? But look at he got in trouble for it. He got suspended. They made a big deal out of it. Interviewed him. Maybe I'm wrong, but it was almost forgotten when he came back from the playoffs and he was helping Memphis. You know what I mean? Go to the next round, and then he went into the playoff series. And I think a lot of this is just timing because the season ended, and now there's no you know what I mean? Like now it's gonna affect into the next season. Again, all I'm trying to say is, if he comes back and he starts balling out again, man, people just they unfortunately in the sports world they will forget and forgive, like if he's just balling out. But if he comes back and he does like a Jordan Poole and just chucking up shots and not playing very well, like I think then people kind of come down on him a lot harder.
Yeah, he's better than Poole, but I think maybe we were quick to forgive because I think we want to, right? And like, oh, we took him at his word that he was sorry, that whatever, 8 days. I mean, he didn't really get punished, to be honest. What, he missed like 2 games or something, right? He went to rehab for like 48 hours for whatever the fuck. I thought it was for alcoholism, but I don't know what it was for.
Oh, maybe it was.
But what's up, Zach?
I think he missed 8 games.
He missed 8 games.
I'm pretty sure it was 8 games. Was it?
I thought it was 8 days.
Oh,
I think it was games. I think, but I can't remember now. Just because I remember it was affecting them a little bit towards the end in the standings.
They play well without him, but
yeah, they did.
But I agree. I think either the Grizzlies are gonna get ahead of it, or the NBA, they're probably gonna suspend them for whatever 25, 30 games. So if they do trade him, the team that trades for him they gotta know they're not gonna have him available for the start of the season. Right. But yeah, what else can he fucking say? Like you said, he already
he can't do it. All he can do is just has to come back and start balling out, and people forget. It just happens, man. Unfortunately, with athletes, that's the reality. Like athletes are some of the worst. They do some of the most fucked up shit. They'll get arrested, they'll go to jail, they'll get accused of all these things, and then it's like a whole stadium will cheer for them. Kobe, right? Like Sal's the first one to say it. Everybody's reminiscing Kobe, right? And it's like, oh shit, right? Yeah.
Well, let's see. Let's move on, because I don't think he doesn't deserve this much time.
Okay, remember when Ray Lewis kill somebody?
He was suspected of.
They said he stabbed somebody, yeah, but
well, he died. Person died.
Oh. Like,
yeah. I gotta go back because it sucks. I like the guy, but I think
that's what I'm saying.
The cops let him walk away. I don't know what happened. You know what? I'm not gonna say nothing but I we'll look it up. But he was accused of it, and he got it for
self-defense. Maybe he got off.
I think
did it was a crime scene or something like that. He left, and maybe he threw his clothes away or something like that, and because he had
they couldn't prove that he was the one that stabbed the person. I think that's what it was. He was there.
Who was? Gotcha. Who was the guy that shot himself by accident? Wasn't he a wide receiver in the NFL too? Burris. Okay. All right. My mind's just it doesn't matter. It's just all this crazy shit happens, man. And then it's like it's the biggest news, right? Because it's the biggest news, and all the sports shows are talking about it. And then it just depends if they get back on the field. And
but Burris, they did make an example out of him. They put him in jail.
Yeah, right. He did
and other people have done the same thing, and they don't go to jail. So they made an example of him. Hey, I wanted a really quick thing that I heard, and I know Todd, you were gonna bring this up right about the Heat and how fucking amazing Butler's playing and 8 seed and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. This guy from work told me today that there's a rumor that Jimmy Butler is Michael Jordan's kid. Have you guys ever heard that?
Somebody said that
first time this week. The first time this week. So it must be out in social media right now.
Yeah. But wasn't he an orphan or something like that?
Yeah. Or he was. Yeah.
His mom said. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I heard it for the first time. Laurel told me. We went out to catch one of the games this week, and then he told me about that. He's like, "Oh man, did you hear?" I'm like, "I've never heard this in my entire life. This is crazy." So it must be circulating right now. But then I'm like, right? I think he is. Yeah.
What? Say that again.
The Butler, he's adopted.
Yeah, I think he was with. Grew up in a home. Yeah, with a white family. But then supposedly it's not true though. That's what I also heard. That the room there's no merit to the rumor.
They don't really look alike, but whatever. It's just social media.
Yeah, this guy from work is like, oh, that's what they look alike. I'm like, I've never thought
they don't look alike.
Jimmy and MJ looked alike.
Nah, they would have said before that he's just putting up good numbers and stuff like that. That guy must be Jordan's son or something. You gotta do that. It's just
real quick. While you brought that up, Adan, real quick, not to I just want to hear from you guys. What is it? What is it about the Miami? If you caught any of the games, what is it about this Miami team that they shouldn't be here? What is it about them that they're up right now 1-0 over the Celtics, or as far as they are? What is it about this team?
I don't know. I'm gonna give you some cliches. They're scrappy and they believe. They're just confident. You know, like, and then like they said, well, like, you know, like, why not us? They have why not us mentality. You know, until somebody knocks us out, like we don't want to hear it. And I think Butler said it too. Like he goes under, I don't we don't care. Fucking we don't listen to that. No, I think that's and they play like it, you know. Like it was too. Like I don't tune in on the game. Like, well, they're gonna lose the Bucks, you know. I know Giannis got hurt and like whatever. Well, then they play Sixers, like well, and then they pull that one off too. And now it's the same thing. Like, well, now I'm gonna start tuning in. Like, I feel like now they're gonna start losing, but I'm gonna start tuning in now. Like, I want to see for myself. Like, I said, yeah, I had that question too, man, but I gotta make time.
I think because they've done it before, the same team in 2020. I think that's part of the reason why they have the confidence. You know, some of the same shit that Sal said. I think they have really talented people in the front office, like Pat Riley, who's not only up there in the front office, but he could, he could advise Spoelstra. And I think Spoelstra learned a lot from having Dwayne Wade and LeBron and Bosh and Ray Allen and all these guys, and he's been able to game plan and adjust better than some of these other coaches. And sometimes it's that simple. They're all talented. All fucking teams have talent. It's just do they fit together, and do the coaches have the right game plan? And fucking Butler, for real, he is like playoff Jimmy or whatever. He changed it. I mean, he's averaging 30-something points. Like he would never go out like this. I think he actually does save himself for the playoffs. Like, you know, like Kawhi and all these guys, like they do with load management. Jimmy does it by only fucking averaging 18, 20 points in the regular season. And then he just fucking goes all out, has all this energy, and fucking just does whatever it takes to win.
Right.
What do you think, Luis?
No, I mean, a lot of stuff that you guys say. I'm a big, like, Jimmy Butler fan, you know what I mean? Especially in the playoffs. He has another gear. Like, what, in 2020, right? They lost to the Lakers, right? Made it to the finals. Last year, weren't they like a three-pointer away from maybe beating the Bucks or tying it, going back to the finals? And it looked like Jimmy was just gassed, you know what I mean? And this year, man, it's I think it's just what you guys said. It's Jimmy Butler. And it's not even him, right? Because it's not like every game he's doing 40 points, right? Some games he'll have like 22 or whatever. But assists, steals, right? And I think it really gets going the rest of the squad. And I think they're extremely well coached, you know? Like, I have a lot of respect for Eric Spoelstra. I used to talk a lot of shit about him because I'm like, you're not even a coach. Like, back in when he had, you know, LeBron James, Wade, and Bosh, like, there were so many clips where, you know, LeBron just shooshed them away or hit him in the shoulder, and Fulcher's just standing there. And now that ugly shadow is not around him, like he's really blossomed. No, I'm just saying he's had an opportunity to blossom, and he's really like I feel like he's outcoached, like his opposition through the playoffs with the stuff you're saying with these adjustments and whatnot. Because he's that, and they're playing with house money, right? They're definitely playing with house money, but then they're also the team that he's doing it with. You know, he has Jimmy Butler, he has Bam, right? And then the rest of them are like Laurie. You know, he's kind of a shell of himself, right? But he's still obviously a good vet. But you know, like, man, it's very impressive to me. You know what I mean? Like what Miami's doing this year and what the Lakers are doing this year, to me, is as a basketball fan, is very impressive. From the players to coaches on both sides. You know. So it'd be cool. It's too much. It's too close to the sun to see the Lakers and Miami rematch again outside the bubble. But that's too close to the sun. We can't take chances here, guys. I'm talking to the LeBron hater groups out there. We can't get cute here because Jimmy could get hurt. He could get gassed. I mean, at one point the run has to end, right? Maybe. So I don't want that. Like, it has to end with Denver, and then and then we gotta see what the next matchup. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed with both those teams right now.
Well, one thing I want to touch on, I said, my little curveball that I mentioned before. We jumped on a little Zoom meeting here, a little podcast episode. But I think Adan, you kind of almost stole it from me. But you kind of did. I want to ask you, Luis.
Fuck.
Do you still think the bubble was a joke, was a fluke.
No, I mean, like I talk a lot of shit just to try to
What?
take away. Yeah, I try to talk a lot of shit, because LeBron won it, you know what I mean? That year. So it was definitely a different year, it was an outlier, but all the teams were under the same conditions, you know what I mean, that participated in it, and you still had to win it. So um, like I talk a lot of shit about it, but it's like I don't think. I mean, shit. Look at what's happening right now. Isn't it the same fucking? You guys mentioned it earlier before we got on. It's the same four teams
Yeah, that's exactly what I brought it up, and that's I
from
brought it up. But I know before you
2020.
game ship, they but and a lot of people, I think people discredit it because LeBron and the Lakers won it that year. But yeah, they said it's just like
It was
people.
a different. Yeah, it was obviously different
Yeah.
than
At the
every
same time,
other
it's, I
year.
think it's a more level playing field than ever before. Nobody's traveling. Everybody played the same games. Nobody was at each other's home. And at the end of the day, it was funny because I saw the same thing earlier this week where the same teams. It was Lakers and Nuggets and Heat and Celtics. And obviously they're not identical teams, but the core is right there.
Yeah,
Jalen
of course. The
Brown,
main the
Tatum,
main players. Yeah,
yeah, LeBron, AD, Murray, Nugget, but yeah, it's interesting. So let's see what you bring that argument up to the LeBron haters that the 2020 was a fluke. I mean, if that's
right,
a fluke, then this is a fluke. Like if
right,
Nuggets win it or Butler win it, is that a fluke then or what?
right. No, you're right. You're right. No, I talk shit about it, but it's just because LeBron won the championship that year. If anybody else would have won it, I would have been like, hey, it's all the same conditions. Everybody played under the same. These guys are pros. Doesn't matter if you play in a bubble in somebody's house in an NBA court. Like you're a pro, man. But
So
just
I think we have to agree that the bubble was not a fluke, right? It's been confirmed. It's been put to rest. It's that argument.
yeah,
Just
right,
drop it. It's over with. Yeah.
right,
So
So
yeah,
everybody's listening. Whatever's listening to right now,
Luis said it, so that's it.
yeah, that's all that
yeah. I
matters.
don't.
But
Maybe I'd have to watch the tape. I don't. But yeah, I never said that it was a fluke. But I would shit on it a little bit.
maybe it's not that he did that, did he? Or
Maybe.
refresh my memory.
Yeah, I think you mentioned like, oh, that one doesn't
Oh
count.
well.
But yeah, I think you said something like that.
Well,
Like
okay.
like
My
like yeah.
my biggest yeah, no, it was no, it was more, I don't think Denver was fully healthy. They didn't have a healthy Jamal. We saw what Denver looks with Jamal now.
Oh,
I don't think
injuries
he was
happened
healthy.
too. What happened too? Like, Hero's not
Why?
playing. No, it's
I don't think Denver was fully healthy.
He didn't get hurt that in 2020. He got hurt
I
in
wanna
21. And then
I
he
wanna
missed
believe so.
22 and now he's back.
oh.
I have to
You
look
look
it
a little
up. I
comfortable,
have to
Luis.
look it up. I have to look it up. I don't think he was.
You like you're dancing over there.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
No, I've been standing this whole time, man.
And the last thing right there, the NBA draft. I know I got caught up the moment. I texted you guys, got on the ticket, and then the Bulls they had 1.8 chance of getting the chance, and unfortunately they didn't. Orlando got the
San
number.
Antonio.
Yeah, no, Orlando got the 11th pick.
Oh,
And the number one pick went to San Antonio. So what do you think? I'm kind of happy. That's my other team. If it's not the Bulls, it's the Spurs. I love Pop. I think that's gonna keep Pop in the league for another 5-6 years. Why would you walk away now? Who knows? I mean, but it's you had Tony Parker, you had Boris Diaz, so you have some little French connection. So I'm sure he's probably excited to be there. What do you guys see? I mean, it's pretty exciting.
I'm happy for Popovich. I like him. I know that there's I always think he's really clever and insightful, even though they say he treats like the media people like shit sometimes. But maybe because we don't live in San Antonio, I don't get to see all the interaction. So I like the stuff he has to say. I think he's a really good coach. So I'm happy for him. I think the expectations that are set on this Victor guy,
well, yeah.
they have to be unrealistic. They have to be. The fact that that Woj guy saying he could be the best offensive and defensive player by his third season. Who the fuck ever? I'm not saying that it never happened, but not in their third season, right? Like maybe maybe Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the best player, but he had 4 years of college. Jordan was the best defensive player, but it was like in year 6 or 7. LeBron was the best defensive, but it was again like year 7, 8. So the fact that they're saying, is he gonna be fucking top 8 player of all time? That's what they're saying. So there's people that are saying, go for it now. They're saying that this guy's that good. That Popovich should go and get Chris Paul, like go sign fucking veterans to go and try a championship with this guy, with this rookie within the next 2-3 years. That's insane. Like there's people that are saying that this guy's gonna be better than Hakeem Olajuwon. Those expectations are fucking insane to me. I don't know what you guys think. I'm happy for Popovich. I think that guy looks like he's gonna be a fucking solid player. But the fact that they already have him being somewhere between Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Hakeem Olajuwon, that's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, all I see is, YouTube clips, right, of him awkwardly dunking and awkwardly shooting 3-pointers and playing European players, right? Not to knock on them, right? It's not the NBA. The last player that I feel that had this much overhype was LeBron James. You know what I mean? So that's why as much as was that?
That you said LeBron had overhype?
In terms of I felt like how Adan did, the way they were setting him up, the next Michael Jordan, and the guy hadn't set foot on the NBA floor, wasn't going to college, teenager, right? I'm like, they're setting him up for fail. You know what I mean? You got to remember, back then, I didn't know that I was gonna hate LeBron James, right? Like, I just was intrigued, man, who is this kid, and wanting to see him play and stuff.
And there was no social media. There was
no social media.
LeBron was on TV.
His high school games were on pay-per-view. It was the dumbest shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's how intriguing this kid was. And as much as a hater that I am to him, he surpassed all those, you know what I mean? Expectations. That's the last guy. There's always hype with players, right? But I think Adam's right. Since LeBron James, I have not seen so much overhype. Like they're setting him up, saying all the things that you just said. So the skeptic in me is I'm looking at his frame, I'm looking at his ugly ass shot, I'm looking at, what I mean, that he's playing. I'm not saying that he's gonna suck. I don't think he's gonna be a bust. He could be look at Jokic and look at Luka. You know what I mean? These guys, it looks a different way, right? But they're very effective in the NBA. They're winning games, but neither one has gotten there either. They've gotten some individual accolades, but it goes back to my old adage, right? It comes down to championships, right? So I don't know. And what's the first thing this kid said? I want to win rings, So I'm like, oh, at least he's in the right line of thinking, along versus another player versus, he's like, but I don't know. I think I'm not a big college guy. I'm not a big, you know what I mean? If you played in Europe guy, I like to see when you're here, it's different. Everything's faster. You're even if you're not, all these guys are ultra athletic, they're going to scheme after you. They're going to scout out your weaknesses. You know what I mean? So the only way these players get better, like the LeBron James, they adjust, they get better, right? So LeBron James, he was explosive, right? But you could leave him wide open in the beginning, right? He didn't have a jumper, and slowly he developed, his inconsistent jumper, but they still had to respect it, right? So this kid, I don't know. They're gonna figure out what his weakness is, and the thing is, will he be able to get better, right? Will he be able to pivot off that? So I don't know, man. I think it's a lot. I'm happy for the Spurs. I like that organization. I like Popovich. I'm intrigued. I'm not gonna lie. I'm intrigued to see how this kid plays in the NBA. But we got a bunch of tall, lanky, athletic guys that haven't been able to pan out. Once there's pressure, once there's defense, once there's schemes after them. I don't know. I don't know if you.
Did you catch this, Sal? Just really quick. So did you catch that? Luis said that LeBron had the expectation of being the next Jordan, and that he surpassed expectations.
All right, hold
That
on.
was
You're right. I
Freudian
did.
slip. That was a Freudian slip right there. Oh,
So we do it. That was this is live, guys. So I apologize. That's a faux pas on my end, you know. So we could edit that out. We all know that that's not what I meant, you know. But he was like,
subconsciously.
I don't think anybody could argue that this guy has had a career that has surpassed expectations, you know, that were put on him. You know, I don't think anybody thought he would be the all-time leading scorer of the NBA, play over 20 seasons at a high intensity, you know, win a couple of championships, not all of them, right? But just a couple, you know. So
Yeah.
I feel like he surpassed the expectations for sure, did not surpass MJ. So thank you for correcting me on that, Adon.
But that's a little prospect. I think, I think he's good. I think he's that good. I know people say that he's a skinny and he's scrawny and his frame, but like they said the same thing about Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for all his injuries, he probably would have been on pace to be like probably the greatest offensive player in the NBA history. But whatever.
Yeah.
So you
you're
think
right.
this guy's gonna be better than Kevin Garnett and Kevin Durant?
I'm
What
saying
about
that
Kevin Durant?
they said the same thing about Kevin Garnett, that his frame is too tall, skinny, and he's not gonna, he's gonna get bullied, and that hasn't been the case. And if anything, he's been doing the bullying. He's the one that's
Thinking
going.
Giannis, when he came into the league, Giannis was like, his frame was very, thin, and he bulked up,
So I don't know. They say I'm not crowning him yet, but I would love to have that guy right here.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I would really think about it. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting to say. I'm glad. There was one thing I seen, like it was like a graphic up where I guess the charted the last four times I should say. The last 4 times they got the number 2 pick, because that's what they felt, number 2 pick. They missed out
Four
on
centers.
Yeah,
Four
they
centers.
missed out on
Shaq.
Yeah, it was Shaq, Dwight Howard. Who else was
This kid, and maybe Tim Duncan. Maybe I can't think of it.
Duncan was the other one. Tim Duncan.
Maybe a second, and then this kid will be the
No,
fourth.
was it? No, I think there was 4 other ones. But yeah,
okay.
4 times Charlotte Hornets or the Charlotte team had
picked second
after number 2. Yeah,
they got number 2. They missed out on that, some big time, franchise changing, talent right there.
That would have been nice for MJ. I only knew the Spurs got the number 1. I actually had no idea who's 2, 3, 4, and the rest. I didn't pay attention.
Hey, real quick, guys, I have a question for you guys. And it's conspiracy theory, but I never like to think about this, but some of this stuff feels like it's
scripted.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because the kid was so excited to go. It's like when LeBron went to Cleveland. You know what I mean? When
Rose to Chicago.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that align with like big, play. Was it? No, it wasn't. And then this kid to San Antonio. It just feels like, what are the chances? You know what I mean? That he would end up to the place that he wanted to kind of play in.
I thought the Spurs had the best odds.
Oh, no, it wasn't. It was. No, it was. So you're right. It wasn't like they were like at a 1%. But no, I forgot, there was another thing that I saw that I don't know how many years in a row. Maybe it's been 6 years in a row that the team with the worst record has failed to secure the number 1 seed. So I forgot who had the worst record this year, but it wasn't. It wasn't San Antonio, and they lost. Okay. Yeah, but you're right. It's not crazy. It's not like they had a 1% chance. I don't know. I just thought it was so weird that he ended up going to the.
Oh, I see. Yeah, Detroit had the worst record.
Detroit, yeah.
Oh, that's
and right. I think Detroit ended up with I forgot what pick, the 5th pick or something like that.
Shit.
So I saw like a Detroit fan, like it was a meme that said like, I watched this team win 8 fucking games or whatever it was, 11 fucking games for the 5th pick. Like, this is bullshit.
But I mean, I think you got to keep it like that, because then people are gonna start tanking, for like this guy. Think about it, for this guy Victor this year, and the worst record gets the number 1 pick. Half the league would have been dead after December. Everybody, it would have been fucking a shit show.
So, Sal, now that we've had these exciting playoffs, you got a 7th and an 8th seed playing in the finals. I mean, you still feel the same way about the structure, the play-in games and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I consider the Lakers a little higher seed after they got made the trade. That's why I made the bet that I made. And, they're not looking good to right now, but I'm not surprised that I see the Heat did surprise me, especially after they lost Tyler Hero.
yeah.
But that I'm not gonna lie, that even when Giannis went down, I thought they were gonna maybe pull it off because he came back for like the last 2 or 3 games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, they couldn't close it off.
And he played okay,
Yeah,
he played
that one is that one on that end is surprising and good for them. Giving kudos and like hats off to them. Lakers, I'm not surprised at all. But as a structure that you're talking about, like the playing games, I think I said it before. Like I was never a fan of it. Like I think 8's a cutoff and that's it. Like you have 82 games, like so half the league goes into the playoffs. So like that's it. Like if you can't make it, if you missed it off, the game, miss playoffs by a game or two, then boo hoo hoo, like we just got to move on. Part of me kind of I don't say likes it, understands it because there's some really good teams, that just had some bad injuries, or some bad luck. But I mean, if you do away with the playing games, I'm not gonna I won't miss it. It's just like I said, half the league makes the playoffs. Let's just trying to move on.
Okay.
I don't think the playoffs are long enough. There's too many teams in it, and there's too many series, too many games in the series. It's just too long. Baseball has it okay. I think they got it right, and now they're expanding their playoff. But they had it, their division and a wild card, and let's move on. That's it. Like make that. You want to make the season count. And you want people to tune in. Hey, but that's just my take. Do you feel the same way or no? Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like the play-in. I told you I just like to see good competitive games. So, to me, I'm in favor of it. I understand what you mean. Like it makes the regular season, kind of be worth less or less important on the regular season games, but I think maybe I've seen 1 or 2 that have been blowouts, but for the most part, they're good close games, and I just like watching good close games.
I mean, so anybody does. I think any fan does, but at the same time, like, it's just a team that's like a 7 seed or they've been playing well. They get in the playoff, and for some reason that week, some players are hurt or out, and now they're just down, and there's some fucking 10 seed just jumps them and gets in there. I don't know. It just your chance.
I think the Heat were the number 7 seed, right? And then
they
Hawks beat them. The Hawks beat them. They had to beat the Bulls, and they were down. They were down to the Bulls, and then they.
That's not crazy because they were that could think about it that way too. The Bulls are pretty. They almost knocked out the Heat, until they fell apart at the end.
Right.
It could have been the Bulls right now. It could have been the Bulls right now.
Yeah, I like it, man. I like the structure just because how do you call it? I think it does maybe not all the teams, but it does stop some teams from tanking, you know what I mean? And I think the Lakers are a prime example of that. Instead of them just kind of like, I know every organization is gonna say, hey, we're always gonna play and be competitive, but they very easily could have shut down James at one point, or you know what I mean, or just traded away all those guys. And I think they did it the other way. They're like, let's make a run as long as we get in.
But they
that's all we want to do.
Because they were bad. It was injuries. I think they believe it. Once we get healthy and you make some moves in the trade deadline, I think
that's what I mean. No, it was injuries, but then their team too. Like I think Russell and Beverly they were in a good fit. Like they got better by
and that's
getting rid of some of those guys.
That's what I'm saying. I think they believe because the injuries and all that took they took all that to account. But I said they come trade deadline. You guys are healthy, or you're good, and you make a couple moves. Like like to me, they say.
But they were still out of it when they made. You know what I mean? It's not like they were in the play and even.
We went up through it. They were like a few games. It's not like they were like blown out. It was a handful. It was like a few games. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
And those teams, like once they know the trade, like and when we talked about it, we broke it down. Like the roster on paper which are much better than any of those teams.
Mhm.
Like, the thing about it, I should put them ahead of the Suns because the Suns probably had a better starting lineup, but they had no depth. So then in hindsight, I would have ranked the Lakers ahead of the Suns. Maybe not the Nets, not the Grizzlies. But who else was that? Who was it, number 3 seed?
The Denver and then Sacramento.
The Kings.
What's number 3?
The Kings were
Yeah.
number 3.
I thought
think
they were
the
better than the Kings.
Clippers.
You
Yeah.
know, I was better than the Clippers and all that stuff that there was, but yeah, so I just didn't think that they sucked. They just thought they were just hurt, you know. So.
We're I think we're at an hour right now.
Okay.
Well, that's
Gotcha.
it. There's a lot of we were caught up like in the 2 weeks of or 2-3 weeks of
I know
NBA
a
playoff
lot.
action. So let's move on. Let's touch up real quick on Luis. You want to talk about some baseball? What?
Just real quick. I mean, it's tough for me, as a White Sox fan. I think they have the 3rd worst record in baseball right now. They're still losing a lot of bad games. They're the only ones that believe in themselves right now. For the first time, I'd like for them to kind of blow up the team, maybe. This team has kind of been the same thing. Like, they just can't stay healthy. And I don't know, man. I think maybe it's time to make some moves. I mean, do they really want to go through the whole season of playing 500, even maybe getting to 500 ball and then waiting for next year? I don't know, man. I think they're not going to be able to sign like Giolito. So I feel like the White Sox should, like, they play terribly enough they should blow it up, I think, as a fan.
Realistically, to make the playoffs, they have to win the division, right? They're not gonna get the wild card. That's gonna go to
Right.
the East, right?
That's the only thing, is that our division is pretty bad, but yeah, they would have to win the division.
I say I don't want to be.
But then they're letting more teams in, right? You were just talking about that, Sal.
Yeah.
How many wild cards? If you look up the.
So, shit. Yeah, they're 9.5 games away from the wild card. Never mind.
Yeah, see, it's like they have to win the division.
They're 8.5 from the division. So
that's what I'm saying. That's far away. They
better chance winning the division. They got a tough schedule. I think the remaining of May and June, they're gonna, like, by the end of June, we'll know exactly where they're at. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna play a lot of tough teams. They have a bunch of tough series, I think, coming up.
Dude, look at that. The AL East division. Rays at 32 wins. Warriors at 28. Blue Jays at 25. Yankees at 26.
All about 500.
24. Yeah. Their worst team in the division would tie with our division leader, Twins, at 24.
Right.
Exactly.
Correct.
So it's gonna be if you're not, they have to be realistic. If you're not gonna, like I said, your leader, you're not breathing back, start shopping them now.
Yeah.
Make it public, but just start making some phone calls. It's
who would you keep? I stopped watching because they're just terrible. I don't even know if Eloy Jimenez is playing. I think the last time I looked at the box scores, he wasn't in there. I don't know if he was sitting down or hurt. I don't know.
I'll tell you right now. I don't know who. I mean, probably everybody. I don't know if I'll keep anyone. But I know you're gonna have a lot of buyers, and that's gonna be that AL East. They're all bunched up, and they're all gonna want to differentiate. They're gonna that edge. They want to fucking and I think that's the one that you're gonna want to sell to. But I mean, as far as keeping,
who you get rid of Eloy, you get rid of TA, you get rid of Lane.
I got rid of everybody except Luis Robert. I would keep him, and Cease, and
but at that point, if you
I don't know about
Cease and him, like, what are you gonna rebuild? And by the time you build up, what are they gonna be at? Man, if the right price, just dump them all, dump everybody.
Even Luis Robert.
I mean, let's say you keep him. Let's say you keep him, right?
Yeah.
If you get on that pick, how old is he? By the time
I don't know off the top of it, but I thought he was pretty young.
Yeah, I thought he was in his early 20s, like early 20s.
Well, okay, fine. If you have to pick someone, then him. But I'm gonna find him right now.
But I think, and Tim Anderson's a little older, right?
I thought he was only like 27.
So I really like TA, but I think he would. So yeah, I'd
TA's,
probably
TA's 29. I was
29.
just thinking of, yeah. Moncada's 27. Get rid of him.
I get rid of Mancada.
Luis Robert is 25.
25. Eloy is pretty young too, but I mean, I think you gotta
I don't even
shop
see.
them.
I don't even see
All those guys.
in the
I'm
roster.
I'm just saying because
I don't
the
see
division, the AL East might get desperate, and they're gonna fucking overpay to get
Yeah.
the division or to get the wild card. And this is the time to sell, man. It just sucks to say, but this is the time.
Yeah.
Even if Reese Robert has the right price, because again, 25, you get these prospects, what, 3, 4 years, 20, who knows what's gonna happen 29,
Right.
when he's 28, 29, 30 years old, and let's just like might as well just sell it. I think our farm system is always the worst, right? So like just build that farm system up, man. Just
Right.
sell. Even the other division.
Andrew Vaughn's 25.
But nobody's gonna take Andrew Vaughn. You know what I mean? That's a White Sox guy. Like that's a guy you keep. I think, unless I'm wrong, but I don't think another team's gonna like
Shit, he's playing terrible. I don't even see
salivate over.
I don't
You
see
got the whole-
Eloy. I don't see
you got the-
Eloy in their roster. They still have Eloy,
Really?
right?
Yeah, but he had that
Yeah.
appendicitis. Remember, he had the appendix fucking removed. So,
Yeah, they should still show him on the roster.
Right.
maybe. But you got you got the entire AL East to trade to. The Twins in our division if they want somebody, and then you got the Rangers and the Astros in the AL West. I mean, you got a lot of buyers, man. This is a market, man. This is, jump on it
Yeah.
before they start hitting up other teams. They
Yeah.
don't-
No, you're right.
I don't
On
know what's
paper,
going on.
man, all those guys have value. You're right.
So just as long as they get healthy, like, hey, just not scraps. If that's the case, then
No.
fucking hold on to them and fucking roll the dice and keep them and see what happens.
Right.
So disappointing though. So young and so talented, and they just can't put it together.
Yeah, should have kept Renteria, man. Should have kept Renteria.
But I think what allow with them, man, when I kind of reflect on this team is health. Like as a team, they haven't. And I know players get hurt all the time, but it's like, man, that's been the story the last couple of years.
The same guys over and over and over and over. Hendricks, I guess he could return this season after.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now that we're talking
I
baseball,
think he's gonna come back already. I think he's like doing some rehab starts already.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
that-
impressive.
that-
AP stat of the night.
Oh shit.
Oh, what happened? Is it the bubble? Going back to the bubble? Where are we going? Where are we going?
Oh, no. Now that we're talking baseball, so just something I picked up. Did you guys know that in baseball, the actual playing time, like actually throwing a ball and swinging and catching and all that stuff, it's 9 minutes 55 seconds. The rest of the 3 hours are like, people walking out to the batting. Like yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Count actual action, like actual things happening. The average is 9 minutes 55 seconds, less than 10 minutes.
So that's what them feeling the ball, throwing them out at first, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
The rest is just like waiting for people to go up to bat and
Yeah.
holy
Fixing
shit.
their gloves, the outfield.
Shit, I never knew that. That's insane, actually. That's fucking crazy. I love
Yeah.
baseball. I'll watch 9 minutes and 55 seconds.
But
Especially in the playoffs.
before we wrap it up, we got a big fight. I'll say I consider a big fight.
Mhm.
Got Lomachenko and Haney. Any thoughts on that? Any predictions? Or I'm sure you get. Well, I'm gonna try to tune in. I already told you my plans, but are you guys gonna be tuning in or what?
Yeah, I definitely want to. It's on ESPN. I think it's only $60, maybe 65. I don't remember the price, but it is a big fight, man. It just I just think Haney is not I think Lomachenko is pretty popular. I don't think Haney as popular as he should be. I think it's his style of fighting. He's very he's a jab His best punch is the jab. He's a phenomenal elite boxer, you know. But I don't think to the casual fan, especially, they're not going to be wanting to see a guy go 12 rounds, outpointing his opponent, handily. I think his last 6 fights has been unanimous decision, 12 rounds, 12 rounds, unanimous decisions. Very impressive, right? But they don't make for the most exciting, right? Fights. But this is a huge fight. You know what I mean? Between these two guys. Haney has the belts. Lomachenko, he lost against Teofimo, lost his belts, but he's been on a win streak. I think he had like a knockout and then a win, and I know he was inactive a little bit there because he was because of the war.
Yeah.
So he's kind of doing. It's kind of funny. I heard somebody say it, he's kind of doing like an Eminem right now, like from the 8 Mile movie, where he just kind of says everything that everybody's saying about him. So what he was saying in the press conference is like, I'm supposed to lose, right? I'm 35 years old. I'm old, right? He's the young guy, so I'm just here to lose, basically.
Talk
Like,
shit now. Yeah.
right. He's like, right. So he's like, so all the pressure's on him. Like, what am I worried about? Like, I'm old, right? I'm slow, and he's the better fighter, and so all the pressure is on him. So it's gonna be interesting. This is Haney's toughest fight by far. He's dominated all his opponents in the past. So I'm interested to see. Loma's a very physical boxer. He's a very what is it, like, kind of chess-like, like kind of analytical. But the thing with Loma is that he's a slow starter, right? He doesn't get going until like the fifth, sixth round. So if Haney wins rounds 1 to 6, like, that makes it very tough to come back on somebody that has a really good jab, Loma was talking shit about that. He said Haney's only punch is a jab. He's like he's like Ryan Garcia. He said he's just like Ryan Garcia, just one punch guy. But instead of a left hook, he just has a jab. And he goes, if you know how to box against a jab, he goes, he's not gonna do anything. So he's also talking shit, which I like. Um, so I'm a little bit more intrigued in the fight than I was initially. I just thought that Haney would I still think he wins, unanimous decision, 12 rounds. I don't think it's gonna be an exciting fight, which is kind of going against me saying that it's such a big fight, but I don't think it's gonna be a pretty fight to watch. It won't be entertaining as like fucking Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. I could be wrong, right? It's boxing, anything could happen. But if it goes according to script, Haney should win by decision, maybe even unanimous decision. And it should be an ugly fight. And what I mean by that, a lot of holding, a lot of clinching, right? And Haney just outpointing Loma, and Loma trying to turn it on late.
Is that what you're predicting?
That's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting Haney unanimous decision win, but people just kind of being like almost talking shit too, about it, that it was a boring fight, and then saying all the stuff that everybody's saying. Loma's old, he's over the hill. But this could set up a mega fight with Haney. There's another fight happening in June 10th, which is Teofimo Lopez. He's fighting Josh Taylor, and the winner from that then would fight Haney, and then maybe he could move on to Tank Davis. So this could be a start of like some really, really big fights. So selfishly, as a boxing fan, I really hope it's an exciting fight. I hope he doesn't just get the win just so that he could go. I really hope that he like knocks down Loma, or shit, something crazy happens, like Loma gets to knock him down. Just where it makes it where it's exciting, where people then are willing to tune into Haney's next fight. If Loma wins, forget it. I mean, then he goes on to fight those guys again, either Tio or Josh Taylor. But that's who I'm going with. I don't know who you guys would pick.
Well, then you want to chime in before I do, or you want to any more time?
I don't think I've ever seen Haney fight. I love the way Loma fights when he's healthy. I'll say that because I don't think he was healthy when it comes to Teofimo, because then Teofimo, then he didn't look that great in his other fights. I'm surprised that he's 35. I want to see a really good match. So I hope that Loma puts on the pressure, especially if he just says that this guy's just got the jab and I have nothing to lose. But I'm gonna go with Luis again on this one. I'm gonna say Haney wins. I don't know unanimous, but I think he wins by decision.
And before
you always get those judges that like the guy that
the more active,
more.
Exactly. And I think when I looked at the odds, I think Loma's actually the underdog in this, but I don't think it's by like the crazy amount. But I think he's on the betting odds, he's also the underdog. But I don't know what the odds were off the top. It was kind of intriguing. I'm like, man, is it worth dropping a couple of bucks on Loma and he pulls the, I guess, quote unquote upset? But nah, I think Haney
right now
wins.
he's minus 280. That's kind of high, right, Sam?
Wait, who's? So am I wrong? Wait.
Haney.
Oh, Haney.
Yeah, Haney is minus 280. Loma's plus 205.
205. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's a little bit more than I thought.
Yeah, same thing. Like, it's tough. I don't want to rule out Loma right now. If I have to give you a decision, it's Haney, a decision. But if I change it before that, I'll let you know before, because like something, I don't know, man. Something, I don't know what it is, but it's like a gut instinct that it just kind of leaning towards Loma. But right now, I'm sticking with Haney right now. If anything changes, I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know before the fight.
It was kind of like that feeling that had you picking Ryan Garcia. I remember that one.
I was more mad. That was more like not in gut, more like heart. I wasn't more mad at, but I was just rooting for him because But it was De La Hoya's fault too. For like, why did you guys agree to those fucking terms? You fucking idiots.
Blaming everybody.
So I was like, oh, they fucking, like, oh yeah, I was wrong, but I was like really like fuck, like show him, but like I fucking, like, I'm not making excuses, but I think on the different circumstances, I think he probably could have beat it, but even the lack of experience, but I mean, you're gonna come in small, like you had the size advantage and you fucking signed it away, like so, that's on you, fucking.
Right.
Like I said, and they can't even blame Ryan. They fucking De La Hoya. Like, why did you agree to that shit? Why did you put your fighter in that position?
Right.
So, dumbasses.
Ryan Garcia, super random. He just signed with a new trainer because he fired his last trainer. I think he's gone through a couple trainers in his young career. So he has a new trainer. It's kind of interesting. He's the same trainer. It's Errol Spence's trainer. This guy has a nice stable of fighters that he trains. So now he has Ryan Garcia. He has fucking Errol Spence. I want to say fucking, what's the guy that Tyson Fury wants to fight all the time or talk shit about? AJ. I think he just hired him. Thank you. Josh. Yeah, Anthony Joshua. Then he has another guy named he has a nice intriguing fighters.
De La Hoya, fucking motherfucker.
Right. So he's that's who I think Ryan Garcia just signed up with them. So I'm just interested to see how it goes with them. It's Errol Spence's trainer. So
they should have fired De La Hoya first. Let him sign the contract.
Is Spence Crawford gonna happen?
I keep hearing the same bullshit. Like, I think if you go on odds right now, Sal, I think their fight is still there's. I think you can still bet on it, and I think it's scheduled. But I have not heard. I just heard that they were gonna try to set it up again for June, July. I don't think that's happening. Like that's so it's the same thing. They must not have come to terms. I don't know. It was all just smoke. But a while ago, they had even put up, and I forgot who was the favorite. I think Crawford was the favorite.
July 29th, bro.
July 29th. So, but I mean, it's already, mid-May. I haven't really heard anything. So I don't know that just
Crawford would be favorite.
I think Crawford is favorite. I can't remember. Yeah.
He should be. I think he's been the more active fighter too.
He has been. Yeah. He has been. That would be a mega fight.
You got any insights on bets, El Bookie?
I, I totally forgot that we were doing that stuff like that. But I'm gonna have something in this week. I don't want to just throw something random, but let's see.
But we know you lost the one today where you had AD, LeBron, and Jokic going over 20. Fucking AD
Yeah,
with
I had a little parlay going there. I'll get 320, but even I was 2 points
At
shy.
least 2 points
I
shy,
think, I
man.
think I'm like the king of losing like one leg parlays by one leg, like very minuscule, like points, a yard. It's just like I'm always like, but
shut
whatever.
up. Don't tell them that. You're the best.
Those are the parlays I put my long shots, and they're still pretty good. But my short shots are different. Those are different. Those are different categories.
That's right. That's right.
But I'll get you guys something next week when if for the final. Let's see what happens. But I got nothing else.
I love that. Something for the
Perfect.
final. Well, I don't know. By next Thursday, will we know who's in the finals? They play every other game, right? So
I'm still sticking with Lakers.
Saturday, Monday.
What do you guys say? Saturday? We could all agree, right? That's a must-win for the Lakers. Saturday.
So the
Absolutely.
thing about it this way, it's almost it definitely must. There's 5 games left, so you got to win 4 out of the next 5. Because the Nuggets, that's gonna be fucking tough. So is it doable to win the next 2 at Los Angeles? It is.
Yeah.
But you got to get one in Denver, and
Well, game 2 for the Celtics a must win at home, probably, because they're at home.
Yeah.
if
I
you
think that's so tricky. Yeah. No, sorry.
No, I was just saying it almost is. It's only down to 0, but the Heat believe themselves that they believe they you're gonna give them that much more confidence. Like, man, good luck. I just like I say, everybody's counting out the Heat. Every round.
Yeah.
And look at where they're
Even
at.
right now.
Like,
Even right now when Adon said that, like I still think if Celtics goes down 2-0, I could still see Boston winning and Miami, you know what I mean? Like the Heat are not unbeatable. I just feel like they just keep playing scrappy with basketball and they keep coming up on top.
You guys remember that series in the 80s between
I was there.
I think it was the Spurs and the Rockets, where the away team won the games. You guys
I don't
remember
remember
that?
that. No.
That series.
That's crazy.
I think it was that one.
No, I gotta
Hold
look
on
at
for that.
Who won that series?
That's the stat for next.
Who won that series?
I think Houston won.
Really? In the 80s?
90s. Did I say 80s? I meant 90s.
80s, yeah. But I don't
Oh,
remember.
my
I don't
fault.
remember either. But I don't remember it either way.
Oh, so
80s or
it was
90s. Houston.
oh wow, so it was probably
It was Olajuwon.
495.
I think it was Elijah against David Robinson. I'll find it next time. Don't worry about it, guys. I got it.
Wow, I forgot about that. I'm gonna look that up. Like, I'm not gonna say that it did, but I don't know if I knew that or not, or I just forgot.
I think it was like the road team won the first 2, and then the road team won the next 2, and then the road team won the next one, and then the home team won game 6. So it wasn't every single game, but it was like the first 5 games were like that never happened before. I don't know if it's ever happened again.
That's pretty cool.
That's crazy. I don't know. I gotta look it up. I was like, don't worry about it.
That's
Can I, guys?
Can
I know we're running out of time here. Can I ask you guys a snarky question? I don't even know if that's the right word. A little
Hold on. Is it gonna
tongue
be
in cheek.
some shit about LeBron James as we're getting?
No.
Save
No,
it.
no.
Save it.
All right. I mean, it's quick. It's quick. It's relevant. It's relevant. I just say maybe it's a little snarky, and I think you guys are gonna shut it down. But I just if anybody's interested, So you guys saw Doc Rivers got fired, right? Let go, relieved of his duties. I like Doc Rivers, right? But the guy, and I don't know that I forgot. I should have been better prepared, but I think he has the most Game 7 losses. So would you say that he's still, even though he has the most games, he's lost the most Game 7s, he's still, at least he got to a Game 7 versus somebody that didn't even get to a Game 7, so he's still, that makes him, a pretty good coach that he gets his teams to a Game 7, or?
I don't know. I made
What are
that
you trying to
comment.
say? What are you trying to say? You're trying to say
I'm asking you a question about Doc Rivers.
Because Phil Jackson never took his team to a game 7.
I just want to know, like what you guys feel like. He's lost the most game 7s from.
Well, not only that, he's
Yeah.
he's lost the most when his team is up 3-1. He's lost the most series.
Yeah.
But did he lose him? Is he out on the floor? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only so much the coach could do from the sideline.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put on? That's what, and I knew that was gonna happen. I made that comment to my brother when they lost. Like, bro, they're gonna fire him. Like, this is like the second or third. Like this wasn't a 3-1 lead, but he brought a couple, like 2 3-1 leads.
Yeah.
With the Clippers and Boston, or just both the Clippers.
No, I think he did it with didn't he coach the Magic?
Yeah, with the Clippers, Celtics, right?
Didn't he coach the Magic? Remember with the Magic when they had Tracy McGrady? And they got up and it was like, oh, it's gonna be great going to the second round, and then they lost. That was Doc Rivers.
But I saw that.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I got you guys.
I just feel like they use head coach as scapegoats because they were fined a couple, like, with the exception of him, but like before that, Nurse fired and he just won a championship with Toronto. The guy from the Bucks, he got canned. And
he won a championship in 21 and he got canned.
Wolves got canned. Another championship. Yeah. I think like the last four champions like lost. Lakers coach, what's his name? He got canned. Toronto canned. Giannis canned. Who else am I missing?
No, the Bucks, the Lakers,
Bucks coach,
the Toronto. Yeah, those 3, right? Anybody else?
I thought someone else got
another
canned.
Guy.
Well, what team got canned?
Well, the Suns coach just got canned too. Williams.
There you go.
Monty Williams.
So 3 of the last 4, whatever. 3 of the last 4 years. I think they just like. I think they. The Boston one. No, the Boston one just got. No, but
no.
I don't know. I think they find scapegoats. Like, especially he lost to the 8th seed. So something's wrong with you. Like, nah, I'm not gonna point at the players. You paid them all that much money. They, you know what I'm saying? Like, they know they're supposed to know what the fuck they're doing. You still need an old gold man fucking tell them what the fuck to do. But now you got to figure it out. Fucking man the fuck up and play some fucking ball.
Yeah.
I
was just curious. It's just
they're saying
Harden
wasn't happy with Doc Rivers.
So they're not gonna keep him. He's gonna opt out. You're gonna fucking throw him. Like, you're the Sixers. Are you gonna sign him for another 4 years?
Yeah, I mean he always has winning seasons. I don't know how to deal with Doc Rivers. I think he's a good coach, but maybe he doesn't make the adjustments like the other coaches, or his players give up on him. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what. I really don't know exactly. That's a good question, Luis. I don't know what it says exactly about Doc Rivers. The fact that he's lost the most 3-1 leads and the fact that he's lost the most game 7s. I'm not sure what that.
Like the LeBron James of game 7s.
There it is.
The most participation.
There it is. There it is. There's the jab.
That's where my mind went to, but I don't know. I like Doc Rivers too. I don't know. I don't get it.
So same guy that just said that LeBron was brother Jordan earlier in the podcast, right?
That's what he's saying.
Did not say that. It's a long.
I think that's it, man. So if I can wrap it up. I think we covered a lot. I think we'll be ready for next week, and hopefully there's more to talk about, and we'll be back to our regular bat time or back channel. We'll be back. We'll be back, man. So unless you guys
2 episodes to load.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, we'll see you guys everybody next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. I forgot my flag. I'm fine, so this is my red flag.
The hat. Throw the hat, Luis.
There you go. There you go. Upon further review, the Rolling Field stands. It's another good, not too shabby episode. We'll be back next week for you guys. Signing out. First and goal. Let's go. Upon further review, the ruling on the field stands. This is the greatest sports podcast, First and Goat.